Oh, good evening. Again, it is Friday the 19th of January, and it's time for Trisha time with yours truly, Trisha. So it will be lovely to see lots of you coming on tonight when I am going to talk about the groups that we have, the new groups coming, and I'm going to do a little demo of a diagonal zipped pouch. So I wonder who's going to be with me tonight on this quite cold evening yet again. Been freezing cold all day. Hello Heather, lovely to see you this evening. What have you been up to today? I thought, hi Lindsay. I have been, what have I been doing? Mainly talking. Hello Janice. Mainly talking and going to the post office. Hello Linda. And basically thinking. Hello Eileen. You're here right on the dot. It's just gone 6:31. Or it's just gone 6:31. Hello Sue. Hello Amanda. So I was on just a minute or so early, but never mind. You're catching up with the slow stitching video. Lovely, I'm glad you are. It's hello Jill, hello John. It seems to have gone down really, really well. So all of you hand stitchers are coming out of the closet and you are beginning to come on this wonderful journey. Or probably you've been doing it for a lot longer than a lot of us have. But we're going to have a good time, whatever. Hello Sarah, hello Catherine, hello Tony, hello Susan. Oh, this one there. Catherine, Susan. Oh, you've been talking to Lindsay. I wonder who you've been talking to. We had a great talk. We have lots to sort out, you know. So Lindsay and I have a catch up on a semi-regular basis because we need to, sorting out what's all coming for the future. So it's always lovely to talk to Lindsay. Hi Vanessa and hello Liz. It has been a while. Hope you're well. Hello Yvonne. Hello Pollyanne. Oh, young Trisha. I love to hear that, young Trisha. It's blinking cold. You need another holiday. I need my first one in a while. But yeah, if you want to go on holiday, Pollyanne, you are more than welcome to. Because you always dip into this as well, don't you? Which is lovely. Good evening, Beverly. Beverly hopes we're all keeping toasty warm. Well, do you know, I pick the boys up from school and I start the fire. Usually I used to leave it till about 6 o'clock. Then it got 5:30. Now it's 3:30. Can't be cold, can you? No. Hello Carolyn, hello Mary, hello Vanessa and Judith. Oh, your lovely parcel, jolly good. So yes, all the parcels went out probably a couple of days ago. I've been without a car having its MOT, so it's been a little bit difficult, but I got one of my boys to go to the post office for me, and then it came back this morning, so I did a last minute one. So who was it? Janet and Jack, I think. Sue, we're holding off for a while until something comes through. Hello Liz, you got back from New Zealand last night. Don't worry, if you fall asleep, I know it's my droning voice. It has been known that dogs fall asleep when they're watching me as well. Oh, Sue's just stopped. You're really hooked, aren't you, Sue? Yes, it's fabulous. It's lovely to see so many pictures of what you've started making with your slow stitching, so that we can all see the journey that you're beginning and picking up lots of different tips all along the way. But we'll talk about that shortly. Hello, Marilyn. Hello, Bridget. Hope you're doing well too. Hello, Anne. Hello, Patricia. I had fish and chips last night, Bridget. We do it on a Thursday because they tended to have them delivered, but it tends that they are late on a Friday because it is the day for fish and chips. But doing it on a Thursday, they are dead on time when I'm just ready for something to eat. So, and I was last night because I was about to fall asleep. So, you like that bag behind me? That is coming. I'm going to show you that in a moment, Catherine. Hello, Patricia. Hello, Gita. Hello, Glynis and Christine and Beverly. Yes, I bet she had a lovely time in New Zealand. Hello, Carol. Yeah, you've got another parcel coming today, Carol. So that is good. Oh, Jill got your spotty, your black and gold spotty parcel. They're not always black and gold now because I've run out of those, so they might be gold and spotty, or even boxes these days. So, hello Shirley, hello Marion, hello Anne, hello Joanna. It is, isn't it? But it's nice to have you here, Joanna. Carrie received hers, fantastic. Oh, you put baby grows on doggies, Tony. Well, why not? You know, an extra layer always helps, doesn't it? And Marilyn's got in straight away tonight. Fantastic, Marilyn. Onwards and upwards. You will get there, don't worry. Hello, Leslie. Hello, Elaine and Suzanne. And Lorna. You're having fish and chips tonight. Yeah, Friday is the traditional day, isn't it, for fish and chips? So, why not? So there was Jill there. Hello, Jill. Hello, Jane. Jane hopes all the Trishettes are warm and cosy. We're trying to be. I am now. The radiator's on just there. So there's Anne. Hi to you, Anne, and hi, Mavis, and Sheena, and Rena. I hope you've managed to get in now, Rena. I know we're having issues with you being able to get into the group, but I hope you have. I did send an invite to do that, so if you looked in your notifications, you should be able to click on that and come in. Hello, Margaret. You're looking forward to this evening. Oh, yeah, it was cold outside, so I'm sure you are. Sitting in the warmth of a home is lovely. Good evening, Margaret. Lovely to see you. And Sue, let's see. Hi, Kathleen and Christine. Hello, and Dorothy. Fishy Friday here too. There. So you're all having. I had mine last night, but you sure will enjoy yours. I must admit, these days there's a choice of sizes. Hello, Michelle. But you're watching, yeah. We order a small fish, and last night when I opened the bag up, oh my goodness. To my mind, it was large. So whatever size large comes, I do not know. I couldn't actually eat it all. So I hope you enjoy anyway. So cold, you both under the blankets and fell asleep. Oh, that's good. I'd fall asleep too. We've got blankets out as well because the boys like a blanket around them. But I'm up and down. Grandma, can I have a drink? Grandma, have something to eat? What would you like to eat? Whatever you'd like to bring me, Grandma. So up Grandma gets and goes and fetches. Then we play dominoes. Then I've taught one of them to play solitaire with cards. And he's really good. So hello, Sheila. Lovely to see you tonight. So we've got quite a few of you here. So what I thought I'd go through briefly are the groups, because I know sometimes chips, pie, large fish, bits on a platter. Does it, Christy? Yeah. Oh, yes, it does. I usually get it with one stuff with 2 bits of fish. Yeah, that's a good idea. If you ask my dear old dad, he would say shark and 100-weight. Oh, bless him. Shark and I heard that one before, Beverly. Yes, so groups-wise. So, as you know, So Totally Trisha is the name that I go under. And this is the page we're on tonight. Now, with the page, it is open to the public, so anybody can view who wants to. And if you search So Totally Trisha, up comes this page. And this is where I do probably 1, if not 2, demos, lives a week. Hello, Karen. And as I say, it's open to everybody. So with that, what I've had for a long time is another group, which is the inspiration group for putting all your makes. Hello, Nikki. And it's called So Trisha Sews. I have had that group for a long, long time. So Trisha Sews is where you put pictures of all your makes, ask questions. If something's going wrong, how can anybody sort it out? What would you suggest? And if you're in Sew with Trisha, which is the paid group, this is where you put all your projects that you've made within the group, pictures of them, so that everybody can see what wonderful things you're making. Hello, Mira. Hello, Bev. Lovely to see you both. So those two have been on for quite some time. Since we've had the Sew with Trisha group, this being a new one, it's a private group, and that's the one that costs £5 a month or £55 annually. But as you know, because a lot of you are in the group that are watching tonight, as you know, you get lots of value for your money. The first week, the first Tuesday, which is when I do the lives at 6:30 in the evening, the first is a brand new bag. Hello, Angela. So you get a brand new bag on the first Tuesday. The second Tuesday we're doing a sew a row. So it's like block of the month, but we're doing rows. So sew a row to make up a quilt within the year. The third one we do a technique Tuesday, which we're concentrating on hand sewing. So there may be hand quilting, we've done slow stitching, we will do some other techniques as well, but there will be some hand stitching going along. And from that particular technique we do, I've set up a group only of late within the week called Slow Stitching with Trisha. So in its name, you can tell what it's all about. Slow Stitching with Trisha. And in this group, what you will see is what I want you to do is put your pictures, your photographs of things that you've made in slow stitching. Now, the vast majority of demos and technique lives will be in the Sew with Trisha group. I may at some point, hello Sonia, no problem at all. Yeah, the majority will be in the Sew with Trisha group. But now and again, when I get the chance, I will do or put some videos into that group. But it is mainly as a discussion group for putting your pictures of your hand stitched, your slow stitching projects, preferably ones that I've been demoing, and any other little additions that you may have thought, oh, I'll put this on it, just to inspire others. So that's what the slow stitching with Trisha group is all about. This is a private group too, so it's all totally safe, private group, so you can put in there if you're making it a gift for somebody who doesn't sew or does not belong to the group, they won't see it. So it's just those within the group. Then on the fourth Tuesday, we do, runners. Fantastic, Nikki. So we've been doing mini quilts then, but we may do a mini quilt, but we might do a runner, so it will be a patchworky based project and a little bit different to what we've done, so just to give different shapes. So it might be a centerpiece, but it will all be to do with a smallish project. Could be larger at times, but that's what the fourth one. This month, Tuesday, we have a fifth Tuesday. So on the fifth Tuesday, of which there's either 4 or 5 months in this year, we shall have a machine embroidery demonstration, live demo, in the Sew with Trisha group. And, you know, I'm going to show you this month basics of getting going, and we will do a little bit more, but I will be getting a group. I will set up a new group called Machine Embroidery with Trisha. So it's quite obvious what it's all about. And again, there may be some lives in there. It's a free group. It is private. It will be private. So it is for inspiration. So if you've made something using your embroidery machine, you can put your pictures in there. But what we're asking, when I do set it up, Lindsay will be putting I say rules, but it's etiquette more than rules. But what I'd like you to do, when you put a picture of something that you have made, I would like you to put where you got the embroidery design from. So it might be Creative Kiwi, it might be Urban Threads, it might be Designs by Juju, just so that people know exactly where you got the design from. Hello Aurora, hello Sandra, oh dear, and hello Sue. So although in the majority of groups I don't like to have links to any other places, and we won't have or mentioning other businesses' names unless it's something that I'm actually doing on that at that point. But in the machine embroidery one, I would like you to put in your description of the picture that you're posting, I would like you to put this design was bought from so and so. and just so that people know as soon as they see it and read what it's about, because otherwise you'll get lots of comments saying, oh, love the design, where did you get it from? And it will mean that you're responding all the time. We won't have any selling within the group either, though. It will be purely for inspiration for others, so that they can you know, purchase the design, the embroidery files, which I don't design embroidery files at all. I buy them. And I shall be talking about different places you can buy designs from who are reputable and give you a great stitch out. So that's what the that group will be for. Haven't set it up yet because I haven't done the demo, but it will be set up before when I do the live. Now, another group I will be setting up, and I haven't made time yet to do a demo, and I also want to get some little samples done as well. I should be setting up a group, I should say. Hello, Jane. I'm setting up a group with crochet and knitting, more on the crochet side, with Trisha as well, so you know exactly what that's about. Now, at the moment, I am getting lots of patterns together and little things that I can demonstrate to you. This will also be a private group. It will be it will be a safe group, and I shall have, so there won't be there will be pictures of things that you've made, but using the patterns that I will provide there, purely because I'm looking to get yarn in. I have got yarn. I have got a little bit, but it's not from where I was getting it from because they're being a bit slow. However, there will be lots of patterns that I can offer for free. If you're buying, you know, a ball of yarn or whatever, they allow me to do that, give you it for free. The other thing I will say, those of you within the Sew with Trisha group, there will be a cheeky little discount code, just like we have for Sew with Trisha members at the moment. Orophil, all my threads, they have to retail at the full retail price, but shush shush, shush shush, there will be a cheeky little discount for members of the group. So not the Crochet with Trisha group or the machine embroidery, not the but who are members of the Sew with Trisha group. So I did say, and I'm quite open about it, it does cost £5 a month, but with all those 5 demos, or 4 minimum demos a month, there's also a PDF for the bag, which would normally cost £6, and we're only paying £5. So £6 for a bag pattern, which you don't have to buy. The sewer row, there's a pattern there, template or whatever, depending on the row that we're doing. The quilt runner centerpiece, there's a pattern there that's £6. So if you were to buy those separately, it would cost you more than your £5 anyway. And as the last day of every month, I always do a giveaway, which is a fabric bundle giveaway for everybody in the group. You don't have to do anything. I've got your names. Martin's just sorting them out now. I will have your names in a little pot, and I pull one out. And whoever wins it, I post it off to you as soon as, usually within 2 or 3 days. Also, we have a swap group. So the swap group, I'll talk about that sort of nearer the time, but we're not having a swap in January. You've got 4 already this month. Oh, blimey, Sheena. And we're coming up 2/3 of the way through the month. Yeah. So you do get more than £5 worth, absolutely. And when I make up kits that go along with NO demos, you do not have to buy a kit because you've all got far too much fabric to need a kit. But I know some of you like to. But I also give a discount on that as well. Quite often it's free postage. If it's not, there's always a discount. Sometimes I do both. So you spend £5 to get probably, I don't know, upwards of £10 back, whatever you do. So, hello Sharon. Oh dear, you're here now. So I was just talking about the groups. So those are the groups. And I'm really I'm quite excited. I'm quite excited. Now with the new groups I'm setting up, as I say, They are mainly for inspiration and putting your photos in there. And I will be doing some lives, but it is not a guarantee. I won't be doing like I do for the group. It won't be a regular slot of when I do a demo. So I will give you notice of when. Evening, Ellen. When I'm going to do it, because I know some of you want to learn to crochet. So I'm getting all bits and pieces together there. So there will be some PDFs for that, so that you've got something to look at, and a video will be in there when I demo, so that you can see exactly how to do it. Because as I say, I have got a little bit of yarn come in, and I'm talking Stylecraft this time, which I know a lot of you love. So I can get more of that, and I have got shade cards now. But Signet and Stylecraft, I'll be doing both of those. But I just wish Signet would hurry up a little bit, because they're very slow. But never mind, never mind. So those are the groups. Now what? Oh, so the swap group, that's right. The other thing, the swap group is changing slightly how we do it. Oh, pardon me. Hello, Pat. Good evening. It is, Lindsay. It is. So I'm not too worried. I think they've got even more choice than Signet, actually, but there we go. So the scrap group and the scrap project group, swap group, it's not going to be a commitment for a period of time like we've had before. Basics of it is that I will do a demo, which you can all see. We will still have a group where you post the pictures, but you will decide from the demo as to whether you want to join in the swap. If there is a PDF, the PDF will go into the swap group at a point after you've signed up. So that's sort of the basics of it. But you won't have to sign up for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. It will just be a commitment for that one. And what we would really like you to do, hello Shirley, is stick to that commitment. I know things come up which are totally unavoidable and unexpected, but if you know for any reason that you won't have the time to do it, perhaps you would just drop out of that one for that month. But you can, I'm reading something here, I'm invited to enroll in the performance bonus by Meta, which is Facebook. Really anyhow, that was just coming in from the top. Okay, so we have the swap group. We have Sew Trisha Sews, the basic one that's been about for years. We have Sew with Trisha group, which is the paid group. We will have Crochet with Trisha. We have got Slow Stitching with Trisha, and we will have machine embroidery. So what I was going to say about these, with the machine embroidery one, you don't have to have a machine already, an embroidery machine, if you you don't have to request to join the group. Basically, if you're thinking, I possibly would like one, you can have a look within the group and see if it really inspires you that definitely I do want one, or definitely I don't. And you can leave the group whenever you like, or if it's of no interest to you at all, or you know it won't be of any interest in the future, you can just leave that one out, because, it's a lot of groups to have. But I wanted to keep it all separate so that everybody could see what they wanted to see, because if I do it all in the Sew Trisha Sews group, and you've got machine embroidery, slow stitching, a bit of crochet, and all you're interested in is patchwork, it's going to really put you off and think, oh, can't scroll through all of this, too much. So I'd rather keep it separate so you can be involved in what you like. So, hello Pat. Oh dear, I've been through that, so I hope you get over it very, very quickly. I will be making sure this live is back on the page so you can watch all of it later. Right, so let me just show you first of all. If you notice this little bag, this will come up next week. I'm going to do this next week. It'll probably be the project for next Friday. Thursday I hope I'll have yarn to show you. So yes, and I thought Susan loves crochet but mainly a blanket person. Yeah. Okay, have a look then. You join up the group when I've made it up. So I think this would be quite a nice crochet bag, knitting bag, slow stitching bag, and very, very easy to use. Now I didn't realise, this is polypropylene webbing. I usually go for cotton webbing, which is softer. However, this is nicely rigid and it goes perfectly with this bag. Lovely, lovely and easy. There will be a template to go. Oh, Sue, we'll see how far we can get you. We will. So yeah, there's a template that goes with this. So those in the Sew with Trisha group will get the template so that you can make your own. I love doing easy things for you. A set of ear defenders. Michelle, I don't know what you want. You want paracetamol. Then you decided not, so you want G&T. And now you want ear defenders. Oh, because you're in the play area. Yeah, you do. You should have took some fabric with you and wrapped it around your head. Then you wouldn't have been able to hear it. I will, Sheena. Absolutely. Total beginners. Yeah. Okay, so that's what we will make next week. Oops. Oops. There we go. I've got the quilt in mind that we're going to do, or the table centrepiece, whatever I call it. So that will be Tuesday. Thursday, as I say, if my yarn comes through, I'll be bringing some yarn to you with knitting needles and crochet hooks. And on Friday, we'll do that. So lots to think about. So tonight's demo, though, because we best get on. I talk too much, don't I, really? So this is tonight's demo. Now, a little while ago, perhaps 2 or 3 weeks, I did show you a couple of others that I had made. And do you know, I can't for the life of me find them. So I thought, do you know what? I am going to 36. Oh my God, Michelle. Oh dear. So I thought I'll make another one. And these are there we go. There it is. Quilted. Yes, I bound. Have I got my bit? Yes, I have. Somewhere. Oh, yes, I've got that there. So this is our diagonal zipped pouch. Now, when I made my first one, I thought, oh, there's a bit of a waste of fabric there. And I had to think about it, because I don't like wasting fabric. So, just grab this fabric I probably had for 25 years. I just happened to pick it up. It was upstairs, and I thought, oh, I'll use that. It was a fat quarter. Actually, it was like, I think I chopped a bit off before, so it is less than a fat quarter. But I'm going to make 2 out of it. And this is how I'm going to do it. So, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to dip you down, because rather than get 2 or 3 or 4 made up, I'm going to show you what you can do either. Right, so I've got 2 pieces of fabric here. Let me just turn this light down. I do like a light on my sewing machine, but that's it. When I demo, I dim it down. That's better. So, basically, when we're making these, you want it to be more or less, you want it to be twice as wide, so that's wider than your finished piece. Now, your finished piece is not going to be that size, but if you think about roughly what you want it to be finished, if you double it up for the width and the length, it will be a little bit shorter, so add a little bit onto there. So it's all a case of trial and error, really, but you'll get used to exactly what you how you want to do it. So forget that one for a minute. Now my normal, so here is my piece, and it's going to be roughly that size. So what I've done, and I've got this piece ready here, I've got my outer fabric here, I've got some fusible fleece. This happens to be H630 because I grabbed a piece from upstairs. And then I've got some lining fabric on the back. So the lining fabric, if it's got a design, you want the design facing this way. So it's 3 layers, and we will be quilting through it. So if you imagine this piece is 3 layers and it's all quilted up, after it's quilted, what we're going to do is do a diagonal. So you get a ruler and a rotary cutter, or draw a line and cut. And you're going to cut a diagonal. You're going to cut a diagonal line. Depending on your size, I would probably have at least 3 inches down. So you go from that top corner to about the opposite side diagonally, about 3 inches, perhaps 4 inches down from the top of your fabric, and then we would work on that. Now, this piece, which is quilted, or will be quilted with wadding and fabric behind, it's a bit of a waste. What am I going to do with that, I thought. So then I thought to myself, do you know what I'm going to do instead? I'm going to make 2 at a time. And you can either make 2 exactly the same size, or like I've done, and when I should do the second one, you'll see how they're slightly different in size. So instead, I've got a bigger piece of fabric, again with the wadding behind and the lining fabric. And instead of cutting, that would be my normal cut across there diagonally, I'm going to cut 2. So I'm just going to draw, where are we? So my zip is going to go in the opposite direction, but what does that matter? Here's a ruler. So instead, I'll turn it this way. I'm going to quilt it. Doesn't matter which way you quilt it. You could do verticals down the longest side or free motion, whatever you like. But instead of, as I say, you know, you could cut that diagonal and have that wasted. But if you move your ruler down, like so, and cut, I'll draw a line on there. And then if you cut in the centre here, you have now got, can you see, we've now got, oh, there's Margot, hello. You've got 2 pieces, and that is the shape you want. Now, okay, that's the right side. So let's put R for right side, and this is going to be the right side as well. So let's put R. Oh, actually, no, yeah, they will be both the same way. So there's R. But now you've got 2 pieces and no waste. Okay. Okay, let's turn that back together again. So the only thing, if you've got a directional fabric, that one's going to be upside down. So have non-directional. So it started off as one big piece, like so. I've cut in the centre, rather than this piece, which I cut, that's wrong, isn't it? Whoops, like that. Rather than I just cut off of a rectangle, waste that piece. If I cut halfway down at the angle, I've now got 2 pieces, which I can do the same project with. Good? Right. So I thought I'd tell you that before we start. So I haven't yet done a PDF for this, but I will for just the basics of. So let us just take that out a little further. So you can see just about, you can see the shape. So here is my piece. It is 2 straight edges, and then here is my diagonal edge. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to quilt this. And what I thought I would show you is, and a lot of you will know exactly how to do it, but I was reading a post in a Juki Junkies, and with them, somebody was saying about her, just looking for my, there it is, was her walking foot wouldn't work. And I thought, and as somebody pointed out, she hadn't got it loaded on her machine properly. So I thought I will just show you how, if we can get a good picture, good close up there, how we are going to put our walking foot on. So here at the side, and it will be at the left, there is a screw. So I'm going to unscrew. Some of you will need, I'm going to unscrew. I don't have to take the screw out on this machine, but some you will have to. And so I just leave it in as much as I can. And then I take the whole shank with the foot, take that off. And then I'm just going to get in my walking foot. Now this is a pretty big walking foot, but it is similar. It will do the same job. And here is my, here is the bit that is going around the foot. Now quite often you will have a little arm that comes off of here. And that arm has got to go over the top. Let's go down a little bit. Over the top of this bar here. There's a needle bar. It's where you unscrew to put your needle in. and that arm needs to go over the top. Oh no, you can't see that very well, but it needs to go over the top. So with this one, I'm going to have where the screw is, it's just going in that little recess there. So if you put your, I'm just going to lift that up. If you put the foot on sideways and put the arm over the bar before we begin, and then I'm just going to, oh, that's it. So I've just put that round my screw and screwed it in as far as I can with my fingers, and then I'm just going to tighten that up, and I tighten it till I can feel it won't go, and then I just, that's it, screw it one little bit more. Now mine actually needs a little arm that goes in there, so I put that in. And when we do quilting with a walking foot, what it does is holds all those layers together. So I also increase the length of my stitch, and I'm going to do 3.5. One, it stitches quicker, and two, it shows where the quilting is. So this is going to be a quick, because I've got a very wide foot, it means I can gauge the side here. Actually, I'm going to move that right over there so that I can do about an inch between. You can also get a little arm that comes out of here. I haven't got one to hand, so that you can do your straight line quilting. So I'm just going to hurriedly stitch down here, and you may indeed want to stitch a little bit closer together, so you could just use the width of your foot. So I'm looking at the side of the foot to the side or where my stitching is here, and I'm just eyeballing that the same distance the whole way down to see if I can get some fairly parallel lines. So I'm just taking that up again. Oh, it's not stitching from the very beginning. Never mind, we'll trim that off. And so we'll start just here, and then we'll stitch down the neck. So all I'm doing, as you see, is vertical lines that are parallel, and we can just go the whole way across. Cross hatching would look beautiful, but I haven't particularly got the time to do the other direction as well, so instead I'm just doing vertical lines, and you can see how quickly that goes just because I'm using a longer stitch. So putting the fabric, the lining fabric to the back, I just used a little bit of 505 spray just to hold that in place. But if you want to use pins, or, you know, if you use, say, Thermolam, which you could, the fabric does stick to it quite well. And very, very rarely, if you're using a walking foot, your fabric's not going to move because, there we go, because it will stick to it quite nicely. And the walking foot is going to keep your layers above. It's not going to give that shift which you get when you're using a standard foot. It will drag the fabric one from the other, which is why you sometimes get your fabrics start off exactly the same size, but it drags the top one above the bottom one. But this way the walking foot keeps all that all level and together, and rather than letting them shift, purely because it has got another set of feet in the walking foot at the top, as well as the feed dogs. Not feet. It's got feed dogs in the walking foot itself, as well as in your needle plate there. So here we go. We're nearly done. I'm doing the longest ones last of all. Let's just see. I might even just switch this round to the other way. So let's see if we can keep those quite... Oh no, we'll have to... Let me just... If I shift... All I've done, I've moved my needle over to the farthest side so that I can get the widest gap between my lines without measuring. Now, I see other people demonstrate when they're doing quilting, and you are more than welcome to do this, and that is to draw lines. So you can use your patchwork ruler with a friction pen or a quilting pencil, which is very faint silver that won't show or will rub out, but you can by all means draw your lines on. But at the same time, it's also good practice if you're wanting to practice at doing fairly straight lines, but that it doesn't matter if they're not exactly straight, because at the end of the day, you won't actually see. This line, so I can see, is a little bit wider than the previous one, but it's a little case, and overall, the lines look perfectly parallel to me. So I'm just guiding it. I'm just looking at my previous line that I've stitched and just guiding that on the needle bed, and it's doing a pretty good job. So I think we'll have one more to go. Just here, or I'll perhaps do one more right near the edge, because the edge is not firmly stitched yet. One more row, and I'm sure that will be absolutely fine, just to anchor that edge down. So one just there, and as it's right near the edge, I'll just use my fingers to pull that out. That will probably go into the seam allowance anyway, but it's holding it down for when we do our stitching. There we go. So I've got a few threads hanging here, which we'll just get rid of those if we can, where I've been starting and stopping. That's it, and then just swivel that around there. And there's a few here as well. Just clip those off. I'd have been better, not the fabric. I'd been better, there we go. So get rid of those, and that one, and that one. And I think we're okay. So you can see all that quilting there. Doesn't look too bad. Right, the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to take off my walking foot. So again, I'm just going to unscrew just a little bit and undo my screw and take that off. So just wiggle it round sideways, and then we can put back our other foot on just like so. Just slot that around the side, take my screwdriver and give it one little extra, whoops, not two, that's it, just to make that securely, and keep your screwdriver where you know it's going to be. So let's do that back to there. And now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add across this top bit here, let's just take that back there, I'm going to add a piece of, now what I used on this one here, I used some bias binding, so ready-made inch wide bias binding, and then I just folded it in half and pressed it. So that was that wide, 1 inch wide, fold it in half so all the raw edges are in there, and that's what I used along here. But as I sat here, I saw I'd got some, was it 4 inches? No, 2 inches wide, 2 inch wide strip of fabric, straight grain, and I've just folded that in like when we do a bag handle, folded it into the centre, and then the raw edges to that centre crease, and then fold it in half. And all I'm going to do is along this diagonal edge, I'm going to wrap it around here. So I'm putting the edge of the diagonal edge into that piece of fabric, that strip, and I should have had some binding clips because they would have been ideal. But you can either pin, so I'm just slotting that in there, so you can either pin down here or binding clips. As I say, because I haven't got, or I had got some binding clips somewhere, but let's just put some pins down here just to hold it. Or you can slot it in as you go, but you want the edge to be right into your binding here. So you've got a nice neat edge. It's all folded, all the raw edges are in there, and whoops, there's some threads that I ought to cut off there. Okay, pop that in there. And then, so you've got a nice straight, beautifully bound edge. And what I'm going to do, so pop that pin in there. So that's just holding it all nicely straight, ready to be stitched on. Now this is the ideal opportunity to use a decorative stitch. So let's just see what we have here. I think I used that one, didn't I? Shall we use a different one? I want one that doesn't take too long to, oh, so that was that one, wasn't it? Yeah, a wavy one. Or we could do, let's do that wavy one, and I think 6, did we do it 7? Oops, no, not that. Oh yeah, that will do. That'll do. So I've just altered it how it's going to be, and what I'm going to do now is hopefully I'm going to keep, I should really try it out first of all to see where it's going to land, but I want it to go over here. So this is just a wiggly one, which means it is going, and I'm going to keep the side of my foot down the side here, so that hopefully my stitching is going to go just where I'd like it to go. Let's see. Oh yes, that's good. That's it. So that it's in the same place the whole way down. So there we go. So that, and this is because it's wiggly. Let's see if I can bring you in a little bit more, and you'll be able to see it when I take it off the machine anyway. So just pull that pin out before we get to it. Make sure that that is totally over the edge there, and I don't know if you can see that coming out at the back. So just keep that stitching down here. I'll take that next one out before we get there. And you could do a zigzag stitch as well, a nice big zigzag, because what it means is that it's going to hold both sides, and you know that's going to be fine. All right, so because that's going off the back, so can you see I've just got a wiggly stitch. It's totally kept, whoops, the back is totally stitched down as well, and that is just how we want it. So now I'm just going to trim off here. So I'm going to trim that level, and I'll trim that little bit off there, and we'll trim this level with that side as well. So we've got our trim. So this is the diagonal edge. The next thing we need to do is we need to put our zip on here. So I've just pinned it to my pin cushion with those pins. So we next need one piece of zip. So whereas your zip normally comes, let's have a look. So I'm using one of the chunky zips. So your zip usually comes like this. All you need to do is pull it apart, and this is what I've got. So I've just got half the zip. So we are going to use half the zip. Now, because I want this to be nicely straight under here, what I'm going to do is turn it, flip it to the other side, and I'm going to use some fabric tape. There we are. And I'm going to put the fabric tape under here, like so. And this is going to keep my zip absolutely in place. Because the straighter we can get it, the more pleased we will be when we have made it. So let's just, this should just pull up really nice and easily. There it is. So I've got my tape on there. You can see that sticky tape. And then we make sure that our zip, can you see that's the wrong side, that's the right side. You can see the teeth. So we're going to put that down. And I prefer, oops, don't press it down, I prefer to put the tape down like so. I'm going to leave a little bit at this end, and then I'm just going to put the tape down there. And I want, can you see how, I want that to be nice and straight. Hard to see that because it's a white zip on a white base. So I'm just, that's it. I'm just pressing it down just a little bit so that I can get a little bit of the white showing. a little bit of the white tape. Now what I've done, oh yeah, there's a little bit of the tape under there, which is making it stick to the needle table. Okay, so let's just put that down. That's nice and straight, and that's it. Just keep it even the whole way down, and even to there, and then I'll just press it down when it is how I want it to be. So I press that down so that I've got the same distance all the way down there. But you can move it a little bit if it's not quite how you want it to be. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch just on this blue fabric to hold the zip in place. So I am going to, because I found it, I'm going to use my zipper foot this time. So just press that off, and I want it to be on the right so that I can stitch there. I'll tell you what we will do first of all, we'll go back to a straight stitch. Otherwise, there we are, so a straight stitch in the centre. So make sure, there we go, that's it, that's on. So just make sure that that needle is not going to hit the zipper foot there. So I'm going to now, that's lovely. So I'm now going to use the zipper foot for the first time in ages, because I don't usually put a zipper foot on. And I am actually going to make sure, that's it. I usually just bring the needle down just to make sure it's not going in the wrong place. So I'm using the edge of the foot, just going along the edge of that blue fabric, just so that I can stitch fairly close. There we go. Fairly close to the bound edge there. So this was our binding. We've got that nice that nice edge, the nice folded edge, so it's nice and neat. Now I think on my other one, I'd actually stitched along the other side as well. So shall we? Yeah, so that's nice. So we've now got a stitch line along there. I think because my wavy line goes right up to the edge, I'm not going to bother. I've got that, so that's holding my zip in place there, but my wavy line is holding the rest of it, so I'm not going to do any more than that. So that is all in really, really nicely. So I'm now going to take off my zipper foot, and I'm going to put my standard foot back on there and just lift that to make sure it's still attached. That's right. And now let's just go back a little bit, because we now need to fold this. So there is my wrong side. I'm going to fold it around the zip, and we're going to put the zip, we're going to fold that round, and we're going to put the zip pull on there. Now what I do, I sort of hold that, you want to hold it so that the zip, where those two blue bits, they're roughly in line going there. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get me a zip pull. So this is the size 5, the chunky, and I'm going to put, let's just put a pin in this for a minute. I'm just going to pin that down so it doesn't jump out the way. I'm going to put my zipper pull on this long side first of all, and I'm just going to push through, because that will go in to, that's it, so that will go up to about there. So I've got that hanging out of there, and then let's just get this other side, whoops, because I want it to go in roughly at the right place. So if I move that to about there, so then the other side I'm going to put into the other side here, and I could just feel that click. So then I put it down on the surface like that, and then I'm going to lift, I'm going to put my 2 fingers on each side of the tape, and hopefully when I go like that, it just, yes, that's it, that's gone on. So that's gone on, and also when I look at this, that's actually pretty well in line. So you don't want to have this staggered badly. And then I can just pull that up. So you just pull it to close, and then you shift that round like that. Let's just trim that bit off. So you can see how when I put it on, it was like that, but then we shift that around so that this bottom edge lines up, and that gives us our diagonal zip. Now you can see it's longer, it's different shape to the other one, but we've got our diagonal zip here. So the next thing we're going to do is, let's just line that up. We might trim it a little bit. You know, you don't have to have it exactly right. This top edge is folded, so that's not a problem at all. I'll just open it just a little bit because we're going to turn it to the wrong side now. So let's just turn that through, just poke that little zip bit out, and then again just fold that. You can see now there's our diagonal zip. We're just going to fold those edges together, make sure that that top edge is nice there, and we can see I'm just going to put a couple of pins just here just to hold that together, and here too, and here, and then where the zip is here overhanging, I'm just going to trim that off so that it's now, well, it's a little bit not quite exact, so I'm just going to trim that little bit, there we go, so that that now matches up, and we can put a pin just here also. So I've got the zip open just a little bit there because we will need to turn it to the right side. So I'm now going to stitch, I'm going into my 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm just going to stitch across this bottom edge. So just reverse at that edge. I can see that's not quite. So at this point, if you wanted to, you could actually trim this to shorter than you wanted it, because this is quite a long pouch, but you never know what I can get in here. I'll probably get my quilting rulers. So what I'm going to do, rather than turn a corner, I'm going straight off the edge, and then I'm just going to come on this edge here, because we are going to be just binding this, which is a really nice technique to use. So when you're going over the zip, it is a nylon coil, so I'll just go a little bit slower. And if you don't want to, I get used to reversing at each end. If you don't want to, it doesn't matter, because we're going to have more seams going over the top there as well. So just a little trim of that, just so that that's okay. So I've stitched that together now, and all I want to do is bind these edges. So I have got, now what did I do this? 1.5 inches I got for this. So let's just see, oh yes, just enough. 1.5 inches. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this over, or rather I'm putting this strip, I'm going to cut it as I go, underneath my edge, line that edge with the long edge. I'm just going to fold this around like that. So I'm folding it around, and I'm going to go back under here, and we'll just start stitching. So this end I'm just going to cut off when I get to it. I'm not going to bind around there, because when we put the other edge, it's going to cover that over. So there we go, we've got to that other edge. Now I'm going to just trim that up to the edge of my pouch, like that. Put that out of the way. And then here, I'm just going to pull that round, and see how it gives me a nice neat edge here, folded. So I'm just going to nail press that in place. Then I'm going to fold this in half up to the edge there. And again, I'm going to nail press that. You can take it to the ironing board if you want to, or get your little prim iron out, and just to give it a fold. And then I'm going to pull that over there, and we're going to stitch along here. So let's just see if we come in a little bit closer there. So I'm going to just along this edge. I will just reverse there, because that is the end of our seam now. So I'm just pulling that nice and straight so that I can just stitch along that edge. I'm just pulling that over, making sure it goes over that stitch line. So it's just going to be slightly narrower because we're doing an extra line of stitching. But so we've now got a nice neat here. Need to just trim that, bit of thread off there and there. That's it, and there. But we've got a nice neat underneath and there for our sides. And we're now going to bind this edge too, which has got the zip there as well. So we'll take our fabric again, oh, just enough. And so I'm going to pop it underneath one end. There we go. Let's go back out again. There we go. So I've popped it underneath the end here. And this is the raw edge. This is where I didn't bother to neaten it. And just wrap that round towards me. Lay it under the machine. And with our 1/4 inch seam again. And just line up the binding. Single binding I've used. So again, we'll just reverse there. And then I'm going up that 1/4 inch all the way up there, making sure my binding is still rightly aligned. And we're just going past the zip there, slowly over the zip just in case. But this time, this end, I am going to neaten it. So chop it off just a little bit less and fold that over before we stitch. Okay, so just hold that down or pop a pin in it. Okay, so that's all that put on there. So again, we're going to pull that up. Let's just take that little bit of thread away there. So we're going to pull that up. And again, we've got that nice neat edge there. And then again at the other end, nice neat edge there as well. So if I push that round towards me, fold that bit down, give it a finger press, and then into the edge of the pouch there, where it comes up to the wadding. Just use your finger. I could have used, I've got a roller in there, I think I had. Could have used my roller, couldn't I? And then in that end too, just fold that over. Whoops, no, I'm out of the way now. That's it, just fold it, just using my nail along there. And then, actually I will pull that over now, pull that over like that. I think, where is my, I have got my other, oh there it is, there it is. So I have got one binding clip there, so I'll put that binding clip on there. Let's push another one there, push that under there, and then I'm ready to start. So I've got a couple of binding clips on here, and then just make sure when we push that one over, don't want that bit of thread, just pull it over, nice and neat, and we'll start stitching on here. So, and then I will reverse just there, and just make sure that my binding there is neatly over. Let's just push that one there. So we'll just stitch up here, making sure that the stitched line that we did is covered. And then here, so it's covered again there. Slowly over the zip. And then also the other thing you can do, which I didn't do at the other end, if you wanted, or we'll reverse here, you could stitch and trim. You could stitch down that little bit there as well. So we'll just trim that off, those threads, just there. Let's trim the threads off at this end, and it's made. It is finished. I'll have a look at any comments you might have. But there it is finished. So let's come up here. Right. So here it is. So all I'm going to do now is open that a little bit further. Turn it through to the right side. Now, with this bit here, what I do is I tuck that, just fold that over and use that to push into the corner. So just push that in. And then that gives that sort of quite a nice finish there. And then we need to go through the other bottom here. So let's just see. So if we fold that flap down, push it through, and we'll push it out with my knitting needle. And then we'll do the same with this side as well. So we'll just let's just get rid of that thread. We will just push that down and then through to the other side and push that. Okay, so this might take my rulers, I think. Where is my, there it is. So I'm just getting my needle here. I'm just going to, because that's a nice, fairly, I know it's a pointed end, but it's a blunt one as well. So I'm just pushing that out nicely, just so that that's nice and neat into that corner. And there's another bit of thread there, which we don't, oh there, let's just trim that bit of thread off. So this one is a nice long one. Let's just do that down there. So here it is. It's like doing a jacket up. There we go. And there is our second one. Have I got a bit of thread there? I have got a bit of thread. So there is our second one. So that one is longer. That one, so two there. Can you see one is more narrow? Yeah, knitting needles would go in there, wouldn't they? Okay, so this was the same piece of material. Now, if I remember rightly, the fabric I had was 22 inches wide, so fat quarter width, but it was only 13 inches long. And so it was just that one piece, which I put wadding behind it and backing fabric behind that, and then I quilted through it, and then I did my cutting. And I did my cutting so that it wasn't exactly in the middle. I went down a little bit, so one piece of fabric, of quilted fabric, was bigger than the other. And this is what I got. So you can see it's just slightly wider. It's only minimally wider, but one is a lot longer than the other. Yes, size 3 would work, yep. I used size 5 zip because that's what I had got laying up here. I'm a little bit lazy sometimes, and when I have to keep going up and down stairs, because it's so cold, I don't like to work in the conservatory, so I'm working upstairs. So every time I need something that's downstairs, I have to keep running down, up again, down again, up. Do my steps good, do my body very good, but, yeah. But yes, knitting needles would go in there perfectly. But yes, size 3 zip, not a problem. Even if, mind you, I don't get on very well. If you've got a zip that is a closed end zip, you could split it in half and try and put that zip pull back on. But with your ready-made, could you put a hand strap on it? You could afterwards. What you could do, let's see with this one, if you pull that open, position where they are, and then you could open it up. Not the easiest, but you could, it's about how you mark your position really. But you could put a strap on the back, a hand strap. You could put it in the seam here, but obviously this is on the fold, so you haven't got a seam to put it in there. Give it a go, have a think. You could put a strap which is just a loop so that both pieces go into there, so into your side seam. So that's the bound seam there. So before you stitch it up, you could do that. You could put a handle coming off. As I say, it'd be a looped handle, so it could be hung or just, as I say, a loop. So the side, this is the side, so you'd perhaps put your looped handle here. Yeah, that's just what I'm saying about Joanna. So you could put a looped handle there. If you don't, you could put a one handle there, but your zip is opening downwards, so things could drop out. And the side where you would probably want it with your zip at the top is a folded side. So handle wise, you could pop it just here. Now I would say you would need to do it after you've sewn it together, purely because of the way that angled zip works, it's actually going to be at an angle. So without trial and error, to see where they would go. I wouldn't mark a position before you stitch it up again. But nice and easy, really quite, as I say, you can try out your different stitch patterns here. I altered this one so that it was a little bit longer, wider, stitches quickly. Oh, thank you, Shirley. I hope you have a little go with that, because I even showed you how to put the zip pull on, didn't I, as well, which is not always, it can give you a little bit of hassle with the zip pull. But yeah, so that is those. No doubt I will come across the other two that I made. Oh, look. You see, there was one that I made. Can you see my fabric? Can you see that bit that was cut off? So I do have one that is that. You could use rivets, Joanna, absolutely. So if you are lucky enough to have a green machine, you could put handles on there with your rivets. Perfect. Oh, good. I'm glad that's a good tip, but it's just, bye-bye, Michelle. Enjoy. Get your G&T. But yeah, if you've got a green machine, yes. Tell you what, also, seeing your name, Jack, I've actually got a couple of the Prim Vario machines, which do a similar thing to your green machines. But they are smaller, still a fair size, but smaller, and they have the handle to push down. I've opened it out the box, and I need, I haven't got one up here, Sonia. A green machine is a tool, very heavy tool, for setting rivets, eyelets, cam snaps, poppers, all sorts of things like that, perfectly every time. So that's what a green machine is. Sewing Street sell them. I don't, and that's where I got mine from. But as I say, what I have got, and I will demo it when I've had a go with it, a Vario machine by Prim, which takes all of the inserts from your Prim pliers. So if you've got a set of Prim pliers, it will take those into it as well. You can find plenty of uses for these, yes. So let's see how many we can see in Sew Trisha Sews tomorrow. I will do a PDF. It'll probably be tomorrow morning, which I'll put in the Sew with Trisha group, just to give you the basics of what you stitch. It is fairly straightforward, but you'll probably want to come back to this video to watch again to see what order. Oh, you have got Prim pliers, Sonia. Oh, that's good. So all the little bits that fit in so that you can put different size and different poppers, etc. Those will fit into the Vario machine. So this is it. As I say, I'll put the PDF in tomorrow once I've written it in the morning. Oh, you're not feeling so good. Oh, sorry, Ellen. But yes, I hope they improve quickly. And see if you can do one by hand at some point. Okay, so take care of yourselves. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm sorry I wasn't able to last night, but I've got everything covered. And actually, when saying we'll do that other bag, I've got another bag. So perhaps we'll do 2 bags in one, you know. The size of fabric is, when I made these two, it was 22 inches by 13. But work with whatever size you like, just to see roughly what sizes you come out with. So it depends where you cut your line. So if you're doing 2 at the same time, there is no waste. There was no excess fabric from these 2 because I used the one big piece and cut a diagonal line in the middle. All I did say was, if you're using a directional fabric, one of these will be upside down. So just beware of that. Oh, thank you, Jack. No, you can't have too many bags, Virginia. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. Been my pleasure. Have a great weekend. And I do hope, as they say, the weather gets a little bit warmer, albeit rain and wind, but must be better than freezing cold. So, as I say, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye for now.